Christie says that this is a lot of sour grapes by bail bondsmen and women who are losing business. What do you have to say to the governor about that?
Well, I have a couple of things to say about that. First of all, you can't make money off the backs of people who are poor because they're poor. They don't have any money to take, so you can't take something that people don't have. So bail bonds in the early years was designed for the poor. So we were an advocacy that helped people get out of jail when they couldn't afford to get out of jail. But as to his larger comments that we're sour grapes, I'm startled by those comments, and I'm actually saddened by them, because obviously he has absolutely no regard for the people in his community, and he has no regard for the victims of these crimes, because maybe he hasn't been a victim himself. But many, many months ago when this first came out, I wrote an op-ed to the newspaper, and I invited him to come on a ride-along with us, to let him see how dangerous and how much time it actually takes to bring these people back to justice at no cost to the taxpayers. So when he says something that immature and that self-centered, like, I feel like he's just trying to deflect, the opinions that he has injected into the community. He's trying to deflect now that people don't agree with it, and people are being killed. June Rogers and Vincent Osby had their son gunned down in the street by someone who was on a pretrial bond for guns, and he had 24 priors that were involving guns. I don't see how he can make those type of statements when we are really the people who are on the front lines dealing with this every day. Why are we the ones bringing all this up? Because we live, eat, sleep, and drink this every single day. But you know what? At 5 o'clock or at 9 o'clock or whatever time I get to go home, I'm actually a mom. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a constituent. And I vote. And if that person said those kind of things to me, I would vote him out.
The senators and assemblymen, even if we get something through, the two bills you were talking about, Christie could veto it.
He could.
Are there any plans to go to the governor and talk to him about this? Have you reached out?
We have reached out. We've left messages. We've let him know. We've tweeted him, texted him, Facebooked him. We've called his office. We've let him know we're here and that we would like to speak to him. Look, we held a town meeting here in a church with constituents and people from your community, not with bail agents. Some bail agents came, but the majority of the people who filled that church were constituents who were very, very concerned about a bill that passed, that they voted for, but they thought they were getting safe communities. They thought they were getting safe streets. And that sort of was a page out of the California playbook when they went out and said, oh, hey, we're, the unity for safe streets. And then they released 6,000 dangerous criminals. Those things matter and they count, and you can't go to constituents and say, hey, we're going to release all these guys, they smoke weed, or, they're graffitiing things, or they're peeing on the sidewalk, and it's just going to be the low-level crimes. But, look over here, because over here we're violating your constitutional right. We're actually changing the Constitution so that we're not violating it anymore, and we're going to hold you for as long as we want to.
May I ask if you think this was a well-intentioned plan that didn't work out well, or do you feel like there were some more serious, almost intentional problems with it?
I think that ultimately bail does need to be reformed, but it cannot be sweeping reformed, because those are things that are untested. They're untested. There's no data to back them up. I actually have a bill in Congress right now to make pretrial services account for every dollar they get. Who did you let out on bond? Did they come back to court? Did they reoffend? And did they make it all the way to their sentencing? That data doesn't exist. That data does not exist. And so this type of legislation is reckless and dangerous when you base it off nothing. You're basing it off of this lobby or that lobby. Pretrial release, I want to remind people, is not a governmental agency. It's sort of a quasi-government something that's funded by the government. But they do not have government protection. They are not a nonprofit organization. They are actually for profit. They are profiting. They are hiring people fresh out of high school. And these high school graduates are basically interviewing Charlie Manson. Now, I can play nice with a high school graduate for 10 minutes. I can jump through their hoops, and I can outsmart that kid any day of the week because I have a better understanding of the criminal justice system than someone who's fresh out of high school.
This also isn't part of the public safety assessment that you're talking about that gives a person a score.
That's
we
the
don't
assessment.
know what's in it?
Well, the risk assessment, we don't know what's in it. It's 8 questions. The 8 questions are not really enough. Like my questionnaire to be on a bail bond is 3 pages long. It's 3 pages long. I want to know, who are you? Who do you know? Who's your mama? What size is your shoe? What's the last book you read? What clubs do you hang out with? Who's your best friend? Who's your girlfriend? Where's your girlfriend work? Where do you work? Who's your past employer? Who's your personal reference? Who's your case of emergency? I want to know who all of those people are because that's the way that I am able to determine whether you're going to be a flight risk or not. Or if you are a flight risk, how I can bring you back to the jurisdiction to uphold the appearance guarantee that I gave to the court. That in itself is what you need. 8 questions?
No, not gonna cut it, you're saying?
I think that 8 questions is what you answer when you get a Facebook account. 8 questions is what you answer on a McDonald's application. 8 questions is, the questions they ask you for Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. We are not in a social justice situation here. Social justice? Do we really want social justice? Do you really want the citizens of the world and the communities to take justice into their own hands? I mean, I think that's where we're going because people come to a place where they're so frustrated, someone can come and rob their home and go down to the jail, get booked in, and get right back out to come back and hurt you because you called the cops. And there's no regard from your governor.
And there's real fear.
This is real fear. These are real situations. You can go onto the U.S. Bail Reform website every day and read 10, 20, or 30 pretrial release failure after failure after failure. And what's really disturbing is that they've got this fake news machine out here projecting to the public that it's a winner, it's great, it's a winning situation. It's so not winning. Duh. It's not working. But what's worse is that when a person makes a mistake, the most important thing to do is to acknowledge the mistake and fix it.
Okay.
And so I want to appeal to Christie to please fix this mistake. And there are very simple fixes. Look, nobody wants to see someone in jail for peeing in public. No one wants to see someone in jail for a backpack being stolen. Nobody wants to see that. But in the same regard, how many times should you be allowed to get out for free without any repercussion or deterrent? Because there's no stopgaps. There's no common sense accountability in these bills. For me, it's like, if you're on bond already, should you get another free bond? If you've been convicted in the last year for a felony, should you get a free bond? If you've committed 3 crimes a day, should you get 3 bonds a day? Because it's fine if you give them all these bonds on Monday, but what do you do on Tuesday? I think that what wasn't taken into consideration was the career criminal. Or maybe they were. Because at some point, I guess they recognized that their life of crime was actually being hindered by them being put in jail. So when these folks were saying, we lose our jobs when we're in jail, you're right, your life of crime stopped while you went to jail. And I think that we have to take a step back and realize that we went too far. We went too far and we need to dial it back. Anyone who's never been in trouble before, you should get a free bond. You should get out immediately. You get your one chance. But then when you fail to appear, it should be them who take over. Because the bail agents in this state are trained, they're licensed, they have to do continuing education, and they have skin in the game. They have to put up their homes, their cars, their properties to surety companies, because you don't just get to write bail for free, just like you don't get a bond for free. And I think that we really have to fix what happened, because there are far too many people complaining. The police departments are complaining, the marshals are complaining, the fraternal order police is unhappy, the small organizations, the sheriff's departments, the sheriff's deputies, everybody is upset. The victims' rights groups are upset. The bail agents are upset, and rightfully so, because where does it say that you get to have your jobs taken from you because someone in social justice thinks that they can do it better. Like, there has never been, this is a democracy, this is the United States of America, the place of opportunity, the land of opportunity. There should be no restrictions on how you are able to earn a living legitimately. And if these people here want to put up their homes and their cars and their reputations for the criminally accused in this town, then they should be afforded the right to work.
So there is a little bit of that in here. I gotta say, it's safety, but it's also the livelihood of gentlemen like him.
Well, I would be remiss to not say, yes, there are a lot of people losing their jobs.
Right.
But you know what? These guys could get jobs somewhere else.
Sure.
They could go across the bridge
Yes.
to New York, and they could work all day long. That's not really the issue. These guys will work. My husband and myself, we never need to write another bond as long as we live. We choose to. We want to. This is what we do for a living. We are a community outreach that no one else wants. How many times do you stop when you see a guy on the street down and out? Not very often. How many people want to reach out their hand and give an olive branch to a felon? Not very many. We as a society did this to ourselves. We would not give the felon an opportunity. If you have a felony, you can't get a job. If you have a felony, you can't get a place to live. If you have a felony, we don't want to hear from you. We as a community, as a society, as a world, we did this. When a person goes to jail and they do their time, they are to be allowed back in because they did their time and they paid their debt to society. So now the pendulum has swung all the way back to a time of lawlessness. You know, I was always proud of the fact that in America, we do lock people up. If you behead someone in our streets, you're going to jail. If you gang rape a 16-year-old girl on a bus, you're going to jail. Not in New Jersey.
People get beheaded?
Is it a crime?
I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure?
Somebody.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I don't know.
I haven't tried it.
But see, it seems like if it's not in your law, if it's not illegal, then it's legal. And so if you haven't deemed it illegal, it's legal.
And so just to be clear about today, are you specifically endorsing one of the two bills, either the McCain
No.
or not, or are you just here to kind of...
No, we're here today to support the idea of some kind of fix. We would like them to at least move these bills into discussion. These bills have been sitting here. They are fixes waiting to happen. And we just need Senate President Sweeney or any of these guys to have the conversation. What are they afraid of? You know, if they think that everybody here thinks bail reform is so great, then bring those bills to the floor and let's have a debate about them. And let's let the constituents direct their representatives to vote yay or nay. But it is not right to just simply sit on those bills and not have the discussion. You were put here by the people, for the people. This is their house. It's not their house. And I can tell you, as a constituent, as a voter, as a woman's advocate, as someone who is in the Women's League of Voters, I can tell you, legislators who do not listen to their constituents get voted out. You're out of here. Because it's we the people, for the people, and by the people. And when you stop serving the people, it's time to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.